What's going on, guys? This is your boy XQ420. Welcome back. Another episode of Showtime with the Cube. I've got my co-host here, Corey Hughes. How you doing today, Corey?
Excellent. What is up, my friend?
Yeah. Hey, look, we're going to dive in. She-Hulk, episode 3. Okay, episode 3 came out this Thursday, and it was very interesting. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to run a short trailer for y'all, all right? And it's just like a little bit of a precursor of what this episode was. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, for the people who are able to see this, they're able to see the actual trailer. And for our podcast listeners, you'll be able to hear it. So we're going to go ahead and let that play out right now.
All right, let's do this.
What's so fun about She-Hulk is that there are a lot of unexpected cameos.
Hulk, Blonsky,
Wong,
Titania,
Megan Thee Stallion.
I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, you are way more fun than my last lawyer.
Megan's a really good actor. I'm a huge fan. Like, it was crazy.
You think of this huge star, but Megan was just awesome.
I am doing groundbreaking things, twerking in Marvel. And I like to think of myself as a version of Thanos.
Just remember whose show this actually is.
Every episode introduces a crazy cast of people. There's so much more to come in this wacky world.
Well, thoughts, sir?
Okay. Right out the gate, it's pretty terrible. It's exactly what I thought was going to happen when they said that Meg Thee Stallion was going to be introduced into the MCU. This week, I actually seen it early, and so I made a video, a short video talking about it on the channel, and I figured that she was going to bring the things that she knows how to bring, which is like her WAP, twerking, things of that nature. I didn't think she was going to actually add to the show at all, and she didn't. She didn't add to the show at all, but of course, they made it seem like she was some type of integral part. Oh, she's such a great she's supposed to be actress, right?
Unless actor, you're a feminist who twerks, and then it's actor.
Oh, okay. Then it's actor. Okay, so more masculine, right? The masculine side of it. Okay, so she brought exactly what I thought she was going to bring. Now, did I think She-Hulk was going to twerk? I didn't think so. I thought it was just going to be Meg Thee Stallion. But this is like, if we go back to episode 1, all right, when she's sitting there talking to Bruce and talking about all her problems, how she gets catcalled, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of episode 3, she's in her office shaking her ass. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, is this supposed to add to the show, Corey? Is this supposed to add to the show?
I believe it is supposed to add to the show. They were sexualizing a person who said she didn't want to be sexualized. But you have to remember, the one key characteristic of the left is that they are the most fucking disgusting, overt hypocrites that have ever walked the face of planet Earth or any other fucking planet in this solar system, okay? So, yes, it was absolutely goddamn atrocious. And I did happen to see that trailer before I watched the episode in hopes that I could get everything I needed to do the show from the trailer, and so I wouldn't have to watch the episode. I even got like halfway through the episode and paused it and sat here for a minute and literally like scratched my head and was like, do I really need to keep watching this? And I was like, yes, because the show must go on. And therefore I continue to watch it. But I got something here that, I want to go over right quick in reference to Megan Thee Stallion. And actually it's The Stallion, EE, and they kept saying The Stallion. So they don't even stick to their own fucking bullshit. But I guess she's a Grammy Award winner, right? And that was supposed to bring some credence to the show and have some, awesome superstar musician person. And then I was like, well, let me go listen to this chick's music and see how awesome it is, since she's a Grammy winner. And it was garbage. Her music is garbage. She totally fucking sucks. And so I went and I pulled a list of past Grammy winners, some of the best Grammy winners of all time. And let me read to you this list from Grammy.com of the top Grammy Award winners of all time, okay? Now, the number one Grammy Award winner of all time that no one's ever heard of, okay, is a guy named George Solti. He's won 31 Grammys, and that's because he's a conductor. and his last win was for Best Opera Recording for Wagner's Die Meistersinger von Nuremberg in 1997. Okay, so he's the most decorated Grammy winner of all time. After that is Quincy Jones. All right, Quincy Jones has 28 Grammys. Anybody who don't know who Quincy Jones is, like, you're dumb. Go look him up. Then you actually got Beyonce, which I would argue, because I think her music's terrible also. But then it goes through a whole list of people like Alison Krauss, Chick Corea, Pierre Boulez, Vladimir Horowitz, Stevie Wonder, John Williams, U2, Vince Gill, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Henry Mancini, right? So the standards that the Grammys are actually using have gone in the fucking toilet. Megan Thee Stallion sucks. She should still be blowing dudes for $10 behind the club she just played at. And yeah, this show, it just goes to show how they're more interested in promoting our false pseudo culture in America today than actually having real talented people on. And fuck She-Hulk and fuck Megan Thee Stallion.
Well, of course, the episode started out right like that as far as perpetrating a particular image as far as for men, because we know we've got two trials that happen during this particular episode. And the first thing we jump into is with Dennis. Now, I'm assuming he's the show's womanizer, okay? He's the delusional male. He's the embodiment of toxic masculinity. That's what he is.
He represents the patriarchy.
That's it. And of course, so he believes that he's actually dating Meg Thee Stallion, and so he's trying to recuperate said funds that he spent on her, but it was an elf from Asgard. It's just like,
right, and it was
where did this come from?
It was an older white woman elf, right? And here's my thing: how is her posing as Megan Thee Stallion not a modernized, updated version of blackface?
Yeah, cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation. Why aren't the fucking libtards who made the show like outraged? It's unbelievable. If they wanted to be truly woke and politically correct, they would have had a black elf do it, because otherwise it's just white supremacy in action.
That's it. I mean, that's it to a T. So when the episode started out like that, I'm like, you know, she walks into the office, and of course Dennis is there, and she's supposed to be representing Dennis, but she won't represent Dennis, so the other guy does. And it's just like, where is this at in the timeline? Like on shows, I wanted to take you somewhere. So let's say like WandaVision, okay? When you started watching WandaVision, the first few episodes, you're like, what exactly am I watching? But it gave you just little clues at the end of it that something wasn't right. This show right here, I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting out of this in the overall theme of the universe.
Well, let me give them an out here, okay? I'm gonna tell Marvel how to handle this. This is your out and how to erase all this from the timeline, okay? When they get in the crash, she gets knocked unconscious, and all this is a dream while she's in a coma in the hospital. There you go. You can erase the whole show from fucking existence. There you go. And that one's on the house.
Okay. You won't even charge her for that one.
No,
right? But
now if they actually do it, I'm going to sue because I'll have documented proof that I gave them the idea.
oh man, that's fantastic. But I mean, I don't know. That's too much of a cop out. But hey, look, man, everybody's looking a way out now. Correct? I mean, everybody's looking. If something's not going right, you got to find the easy way out.
So I heard in another interview with what's her name? The actress, whatever, the chick who's only cute half the time. She basically said, "Oh, Megan Thee Stallion's great, and she totally understood what we're trying to do with the show." Really? What are you doing with the show? Because I haven't figured it out yet, other than promote your woke agenda. Like, I haven't figured out what the point of the show is, but yet I guess Megan Thee Stallion has some sort of like inside fucking, third eye or something that she can just glean what the fuck the show is about, because I don't think anybody else on planet Earth can figure out why the show even exists.
Yeah, and of course, once what we saw from that trailer, they were so excited that Megan Thee Stallion was up there. But I was like, she didn't add anything to the show. Like, she was just more of like a prop. And I'm just, it's almost like sidebar to, okay, I was understanding that, all right, we were doing the Abomination trial. All right. Okay, so I was understanding that. but then like to throw this aspect of it in the show seemed like, because this was half the show, Dennis's trial, Megan Thee Stallion, that was half the show. So I feel like throwing this in just kind of took away from an opportunity to maybe build the character of She-Hulk a little bit more, or maybe see what type of adversity she's going to face in the future. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I felt like they just kind of wasted those minutes just trying to be quote unquote humorous and have another cameo in there. And Jennifer Walters actually speaks about this. It's like, oh, well, every week's not going to be a cameo, but except for the first, 3 weeks and probably week 4 and week 5. So it's just like, someone's just like, oh, we just don't throw characters in here and just have like a show that has no overall storyline or meaning.
Right. So I've decided that her stealing of the kind of, when she stops and looks at the camera and talks to it, what is that about? Like, what is that called? Is there a name for that?
Yeah, that's break the fourth wall. Breaking the
fourth wall. Okay. Mm-hmm. So typically, if you're breaking the fourth wall, I would assume that you're talking to the camera, but you should still kind of be in character and talking about things within the show, not talking about the real world, because then it just makes the whole show seem stupid, right? You're telling us this is fake when you do that. So Deadpool, I have to go back and watch Deadpool again and see how he did it. And because I'm not completely convinced that Deadpool stepped outside of that commentary within the bounds of the show itself, right? So, have I already said the show is pure trash?
You mentioned it, okay? You mentioned it. So I'm right there with you on that. Deadpool, even if we, of course, I've looked at people who are more in tune with the comic book the comic book side of the character as well, and they've always said that Deadpool, that's what he did. He broke the fourth wall. It was always, comical and things of that nature. So that seems within his character. But the She-Hulk deal with her talking to us, it's just like, I could just you could just miss me with it. You know what I'm saying?
And she was trying to be funny, and she's not funny. Like,
yeah, that's the whole thing.
She's not funny. She should go back to being a waitress somewhere.
Yeah, like this is supposed to be comedy, and it's almost veering more towards comedy than actually a show that will give us a progression of the universe. But it's not good at doing that. It's not good at the comical side. I think that's the main thing. Like, it's trying hard to be funny, but it's just not hitting on all those notes.
Yes. I haven't seen anything in this show that's new and original. Okay. I guess the concept of her being an attorney is, but all they're doing is recycling old characters. The storylines are ridiculously weak. So there's a scene where she forgets that she's the Hulk or something. Like, she gets attacked by 4 dudes. With a bunch of Asgardian plumbing tools or whatever the fuck they were. Did you see? You see the bar with lights on it? Like, what are you talking about? What, did you guys rob a Asgardian construction worker? Yeah. Like, how? And then she forgets she's the Hulk for a second. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the Hulk," and she's like,
Yeah, but it wasn't even like. It was like a nice ass whooping. You know what I'm saying?
Hang on.
I
can't do this. I got a gun around here somewhere. I'm just going to end it.
I mean, literally, we get all the way through that, and we're like, okay, oh shit, a fight scene. All right, this and all these shows, these are superheroes. Okay, that's what they're supposed to be. So we're eventually looking some type of confrontation in a battle. Well, the 2 battles that we've had so far have been absolutely dog shit. The first one with Titania, where she throws the bench She-Hulk catches it, and then she does a Liu Kang kick, and it's one punch, and that's it. I'm just like, this woman just busted through the wall, okay? So, obviously, I feel like it should take more than one punch. It wasn't even a well-placed punch. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it was like on the jawline. It was like right in the sternum. It was like, that's it. You know, she's knocked out cold. And then we get this other fight scene with the Asgardian tech, supposedly. But these guys had no shot. I don't even know what they were really doing. They looked like they were trying to get her blood, a sample of her blood, because one came up with the needle and tried to poke it in her arm. It bent, and they're like, "Dang, we couldn't get a sample of it." So is this where the show's going? Where we're going to have people who are trying to attempt to extract the blood from her to make more Hulks? Is that what we think where it's going?
So when you look back at previous Hulk movies, is it ever addressed that his skin is impenetrable?
Well, for the most part, you see that it is, and
so
for the most part, until he fights Abomination. But for the most part, because when they're like shooting rockets at him, bullets, it's just all bouncing off of him.
Okay, so how come the people who sent these dumb plumbers to go jack up She-Hulk, if they're so meta and breaking the fourth wall, why haven't they gone back and watched the original Hulk movies to realize that you can't just poke her in the arm with a needle and get this stuff? You see, this is like such a fucking flaw in the writing process. They just hope that these wokesters who are 20 years old never saw those movies that came out 20 years ago. You know,
exactly. You feel like you would do a little bit of research. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Like if I'm going, okay, so let me look. Okay, we don't know a ton about She-Hulk, but let me go and let me see, what attributes the Hulk has, and let me kind of use the same approach I would use for the Hulk as the She-Hulk, seeing how they'll be very similar opponents. But like these guys, I thought maybe I was going to see some semblance of a fight. And not only was it not a fight, but She-Hulk didn't even really hurt them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just kind of like...
I mean, one of them should have been like...
One
of them should have been a puddle of guts at the end of the fight, really. If she's that big and bad and strong. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's kind of hard. See, this show is very hard for me to do a fair and unbiased critique of, because it's horrible for so many different reasons. Like, let's say we just ignored all the woke ideology they're pushing in it, right? And we just tried to enjoy like a normal storyline. Like, the character's not compelling. The origin story is garbage. And there's so not much they can do with this. And I will bet my pinky right now it doesn't get a second season, or it gets a second season with horrible ratings just to give a finger to the world, and then they're going to cancel it. But this show is goddamn doomed like the fucking Titanic.
All right. Well, it ain't looking too good unless they take it a different route, which we've seen from the trailer. Some of the other things, it looks like maybe I think I seen Titania again pop up. So I don't know if she's going to end up being a main antagonist of this whole deal.
What's wrong with her parents? Why did they name her Titania? Like,
well, I mean, shit happens, you know.
Shit
what I'm
happens.
saying?
Okay.
I mean,
a drunk night at the bar. We'll let that one slide.
Hey, look, it's just tough. But if we move back to probably what the main aspect of this particular episode should have been, I feel with the way they're going, would have been her particular case with Abomination. All right, and so we see the cameo of Wong in it, and he's just kind of just like another. It's just like another guy who's just there to be funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
I never liked Wong in the first place. He never should have been the Sorcerer Supreme. He got it as he was a close
default.
second, right? He got it by default.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of course
Doctor Strange was snapped away for 5 years, so somebody had to be it. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, we can't have Doctor Strange as the Sorcerer Supreme because he's a white guy with a bad fake American accent. So, yeah.
I mean, you got a good point there. But now Abomination, obviously he's fully reformed. I'm assuming he has 7 pen pal wives or female friends, And I'm going to be honest with you, that garb they had on, that was like Midsummer. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but that's like a cult. You know what I'm saying? I was like, maybe I should have had them come out there in something different than the Midsummer outfits. I mean, they like literally like had the dude dressed up in a bear costume and like burn him alive. It's just like, you know, okay, so Blotsky, Abomination, he's reformed. He's got love interests. He's going to do yoga and meditate. I'm just like, man, these characters need to have something else besides just, oh, okay, I'm going to be reformed. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and let me ask you this. Does anybody who's seen the Marvel Universe for the past 10 to 15 years, do they even know or give a fuck about Abomination? Like, because that was from the original Hulk movie, which I believe came out in like 2002 or something like that, right? So,
no, golly, what was the original Hulk? I don't think that one went to. I think the one you're talking about was Eric Bana.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, Eric Bana, because that was the 3.5 hour long Hulk movie, which was like, yeah. So 03 was Eric Bana.
That was
the
03.
Incredible Hulk. Yeah, Incredible Hulk was 2008 with Edward Norton. So that was actually
still 14 years ago.
Yeah, that was actually the kickstart of the MCU though. Like that's technically the first movie, if I'm correct, because I don't think Iron Man came till afterwards. Okay, Iron Man came the same year. So Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk.
So those original Hulks were. So we've had 3 different Hulks. We've had Eric Bana, right? Is that his name? And then we had Edward Norton, and now we've
Mark
got
Ruffalo,
the worst Hulk of them all, Mr. Ruffalo. Like, that guy's a fucking moron. You ever see his tweets? He's probably the dumbest wokester in fucking Hollywood, really. I just, Marvel has gone to shit, and, you know, as far as storylines go, DC always smoke their ass, so I don't want to hear nothing about motherfucking Marvel Universe beating everybody, because I've heard that so many times. So many of these fucking modern-day kids who watch the shit are all about Marvel Universe. DC is where it's at, okay? So, there, that's my
the only problem with DC right now, as far as their cinematic universe, is that they can't keep anybody employed. Okay, so they can't have a universe because they can't keep employees. But so that's their main problem. But I think the issue that we're running into here is that with these particular shows, we've had instances of some of the shows being good. Okay. And I think that's what our issue is. So, for me, WandaVision was good. Captain America one was, or the Falcon and Winter Soldier. That was watchable. Okay, because of the action. Loki, for me, I think is the best one they made because as far as the shows go, because that actually gave you a semblance, like, hey, here's where we're going in the cinematic universe per se. All right. So it gave you the biggest, and especially with introducing Kane. Moon Knight had his moments. I still haven't watched Miss Marvel. I'm going to get around to that. By God, I'm going to get around to that sometime. But I think so. We have semblances of, okay, so we've got the start of the series. We know who our antagonist is going to be. We have our action. We have our conclusion. And I think that's where this is kind of missing the boat entirely, that you're just like out here just wandering around. We're like the Israelites, you know what I'm saying? Just wandering around, and our destination's 2 miles up the road. You know what I'm saying? But we're walking in circles. I mean, that's what I feel like right now. I want to latch on to something on this, but I just like, it's missing that. It needs that pop. Okay. That's what it needs.
You know, I can't tell what it needs other than a cancellation notice. I think that this Hulk chick is really disgustingly miscast. Like, really miscast. They needed somebody who genuinely projects a stronger vibe Or on the flip side, a much weaker vibe, right? So that the Hulk counteracts that and adds to her overall.
Exactly.
You know? But no, she is like slap in the middle, and like it's just no good. She's just not good. Have we taken a look at her IMDb? Do we know what else she's been in?
Let's see. With her, let's see. Okay, so Tatiana, and that's her name, Tatiana. It's kind of funny how Titania is in it. Her name's Tatiana. All right, so let's see what she's been in. My God, nothing. Well, some people talked about how great she was in Orphan Black. I haven't seen that. It's a TV series.
She's the Orphan Black chick, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen a whole lot of people talk about that.
I remember I started watching that, and that was dog shit also. Oh, no wonder Orphan Black sucked. It was a Canadian science fiction thriller.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the only thing they're good at is being a bunch of totalitarians, so.
Oh, yeah, that's the best thing they're good at. This is like her first like for me, from what I'm seeing, major role. Like, she did a lot of voice acting. She's been in a couple of TV series, the Harper House. Yeah, but this is pretty much it.
So let me ask you this:
This is it for her. Yeah.
We all know that Hollywood is run by people like Harvey Weinstein, who you had to take it a couple times in order to get a good role.
Mm-hmm.
You think she had to give it up in order to get this role? Or has she given it up at any point in her career to get a role? I say the answer is a yes.
You say yes?
I say yes. I say all of them are. Every good-looking woman in Hollywood has had to do that. Unquestionably.
More than likely. Let's be honest, because it's that aspect of our society is pretty disgusting.
Disgusting.
The entertainment aspect. I mean, a lot of folks got to do a lot of weird stuff in order to make it. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, seeing from what she has up here, this is kind of her first like step out onto the mainstream, because everything else she's done has been like, I don't know any of it. Like, I'm just looking through here. I don't know any of it, and So I'm with you there. Maybe either cast a stronger woman or even quote unquote a weaker woman, and have that be her alter aspect. That once she gets into that mode, she goes all out. Now I don't know if you noticed on this episode, the CGI in areas were absolutely atrocious. It looked like at the beginning, it seemed weird, like her clothes didn't fit. They were like baggy. I'm like, what happened with the CGI in areas? In some areas it looked good. You know what I'm saying? And then like when she's in like her attorney outfit, you're like, dog. I mean, it looks like they didn't fully render it.
And so how tall is the Hulk when he changes? Isn't he like 20 foot tall? Isn't he like huge?
I don't know exactly how tall. I know She-Hulk's 6'7".
Like
when she changes
in the show or the old comics.
No, that's what they say she is. They say she's 6'7".
That seems a little weak.
Oh well, I mean,
so she gets green skin and she gets strong, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So Bruce Banner, he goes from 5'9" to 7'8".
Oh, that's it.
What he goes
I thought
from.
I thought it was way more than that.
Yeah. So he goes from 5'9" to 7'8". So she goes from.
I saw on a clip.
Probably.
I saw another review. I watched a couple of reviews of the first episode this week, and someone had a really good point. They showed like parts of the original fight with Abomination, and I think they showed another scene where he was like lifting a building or something like that. But then she's able to drive the car, hit him, and then he just flies off the car. In that very first episode, like completely contradicting his true abilities. You know what I mean? Like, she should have hit him, and the car should have gotten wrecked on him standing there.
Oh yeah. The car should have been absolutely destroyed. It should be no semblance of the car left. But the height seems to be within a good ratio.
All
as
right,
far
then I'll
as
give him
6'7" to 7'8". So I can understand that. Men are generally taller than women, so we've got that particular aspect. But I think they need to do a little bit better with the CGI parts on this, because it was kind of cringe. It was really cringe in moments. I'll just maybe they're, and I have seen some rumors that like they're forcing these people to put content out so quick they're not able to go through the full paces, and that may be the case, and that may be the case as far as with the writing as well. I want to know what you think about that. That maybe they're just trying to put out stuff so quick that they're not actually flushing out what a particular show or how the vision of the show they want to look like.
Yes, and that's something else I caught when I was watching the show. The actual show itself was like 20 minutes, and there was literally like 10 minutes of credits. I was like, what? I mean, and so I don't honestly, in this show, there's going to be spoiler alerts because I really don't give a fuck about telling you what happened at the end if you didn't see it. So Blonsky gets paroled, which number one is ridiculous. But the writing in as far as how the show is progressing is fucking terrible. Like when the show ended, I was like, what? Because I felt like it was just getting into a flow, and there should have been some follow-up to him getting out or something, but it was like, okay, he's paroled, yay, and then boom, it's over. I was like,
yeah, my girlfriend said the same thing. She was like, was that it? Like, she was sitting here watching it with me. She was like, did the show just go off? I'm like, yeah, this is the credits. That's it. And she just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Wong pops up and he's like, oh, hell yeah, I helped him break out. And then it's just kind of funny. Like, it's like the people look at him and say, hey, you know you just helped aid in the bed breaking out a fugitive, right? He said, yeah, I'm going to leave now. And he just walks out. You know, it's
so,
like,
I don't like when they these characters are like, so, okay, I like Doctor Strange. It's not a perfect character. The movies aren't definitely not perfect, but I appreciate he's a great actor, Cumberbatch, right? Mm-hmm. So he's a really phenomenal actor. I think doing Doctor Strange is beneath him, but they must have cut him a $30 million check per movie, so I'll do it too. Well, mm-hmm. I'll wear women's clothes all day for $30 million. I don't care, right? So, but he takes the role seriously, and even when he's funny, it's a very dry funny, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it fits and it's great. But they're demeaning other characters. Like when Wong did that, I thought it was very demeaning. He's not a comic relief character, you know.
No, he's very serious in all the movies that he's in. Like every movie that he's been in, like for the most part, he's been more of a serious character.
Yes.
So to have him in this, to all of a sudden to try to be some type of comedic relief, and I don't know if you've noticed another point that like, oh, well, how'd you get Wong? Oh, I thirst trapped him. That's what her friend said. The one who's her, like, I guess, paralegal. It's just like, hold on a second. So, are you saying that you might have said something sexual to him? I'm trying to figure out, what's going on here. But yeah, the throwing Wong in there, I understand that we're going from an aspect of, okay, we're showing where Abomination was fighting in the arena during the Shang-Chi movie. I want to make sure I say it right, okay? It ain't Shang-Chi, even though that's what it says. It's Shang-Chi. So yeah, during that movie. But I don't know. I just feel like maybe if you brought Wong in, I would have much rather him be a little bit more serious of a character, because that's the way he's always been portrayed in the movies he's been in.
Right, and I like, in general, well done cameos. Like the Stan Lee showing up in every Marvel movie was actually really good. It was always tasteful. You always knew to expect it, and it never took away from the movie. But here, it seems as though they're bringing in so many of these past characters, it detracts from the attention from her, because they're definitely more special than she is, right? In as far as the history of Marvel. So I think that they think that they're using that to draw people in, to show they got a high budget, to do all that stuff. But I think it's absolutely failing, because it's not adding to the show. It's showing that she can't do the show without these fucking cameos. And so when I look at Tim Roth, I think that's his name, Tim Roth, right? So he plays Abomination, and when he's Blonsky, like when he's sitting in that chair, like kicked back, like I have a feeling that's how Tim Roth actually feels about this whole thing. He's just like, yep, I'm just here for the paycheck, right? He's phoning it in. And so, you know,
oh man,
someone with a
you're right, man. It just seems like he's just like, damn, boy, this is bad off, man. I mean, it's like just kick back, just like, boy, I tell you what, man. As soon as I'm able to get off this set, I am out, son. I mean,
they're like, wait a minute, you're gonna give me $5 million for about 7 minutes of screen time? Where do I sign up? You know, like,
mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I want to know what the budget is. Let me Google that real quick. What is the She-Hulk budget?
It's yeah, I don't know that. I tell you. Well, I know. I do know one thing. The rating with IMDb is a 5.7 out of 10. So
5.7 out of 10. That is generous.
Yeah, it is. It's very generous. It's very generous, no doubt. Let's see. Can we? Do you see what the budget is?
No, it doesn't say anywhere. When I put in She-Hulk and budget, I got a bunch of articles that were calling it low budget. So I didn't see what the actual numbers were.
Well, you see this up here. It just says Hulk/budget, and yeah, the top stories on that. Not sure if Marvel or FIFA has low budget She-Hulk graphics compared to career mode cutscene. So it's just like. So I guess people are saying, "Hey, man, the budget don't look too great from what we're seeing from our CGI and all that." So So with Blonsky now being out, okay, I don't know. I'm assuming that Megan the Stallion is not going to be in any more episodes, even though she did such a phenomenal job shaking her ass on that one episode. So I'm assuming that she's off the table. What is your predictions on where it kind of goes from here?
Well, so we finally 3 episodes in have a direction, right? Somebody's trying to get her blood. Who's
hopefully.
Right. So who's trying to get her blood that has henchmen who robbed an Asgardian plumber, right? So that's the big question. That, I guess, is supposed to be the hook to get you to tune in next week to hope that they talk about it. It didn't really hook me because it's going to be some fucking low-budget criminal who probably ends up contradicting previous tenets of the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? So I don't give a fuck who's trying to get her blood, to be honest with you. They did a poor job.
They're doing a poor job of making people threats. And I think that's one of the things in the movies and in the shows that you have to do. You have to have somebody as a threat. And I think that's one of the things that they made an issue even with the latest Thor movie, Love and Thunder. My issue with the latest movie of Thor, Love and Thunder is that Gore never seemed like a threat to Thor because he was almost laughing the whole time when he literally had him pinned up against the car, blade to his neck. Thor's just like making a joke. It's just like okay, I want my villains to have depth. I want my antagonists to make it seem like, hey, this is a threat you need to take seriously.
So one thing about the writing is that they seem to be heavily dependent on their past franchises, right? So they keep pulling from their past pool of stuff. Honestly, I fucking hate things like Batgirl, Supergirl, like all that stuff. Like, I will give a little bit of credit to them with Ms. Marvel, is that is a new character who does new stuff. Even Captain Marvel, right? Even that was acceptable. That was acceptable because it was new and it was different and it didn't bite off of any of the old stuff. I mean, I'm sure she was in the comics, but one franchise in general that stands out in my mind that we should probably do a show on in the future is, I guess about a year or two ago, they did one season of Swamp Thing, DC's Swamp Thing. Did you ever watch it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I never watched the show.
They did like
the
10
movie.
episodes.
I've seen the movie back.
The movie was like old Roger Corman kind of stuff. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
But no, the TV series that they did, I thought was goddamn phenomenal. It was different. It was comic related. It was DC. He was definitely a hero. And the franchise is not something that we've been just overloaded with. Why? Mm-hmm. I don't like seeing these female versions of an original character. Like, just because they're an offshoot implies that they're inferior. It implies that they're not as good in as far as the original, right? They're like a VHS copy of the original, right? So why can't they just come up with new fucking content, brand new characters, right? Even if it's something ridiculous that's kind of been done, like, I don't know, some chick gets electrocuted and becomes an electricity monster, right? It's an old trope. It's been done before, but we haven't been seeing it. It hasn't been getting forced down our throats. And there hasn't been a character highlighted in movies to do something like that, right? Or anything else. Hell, why don't they give us, like DC, why don't they give us, or is it Marvel? I forget. No, it's DC. Plastic Man. Remember fucking Plastic Man when you were a kid? Like, or you might be a little too young for that. But I mean,
yeah, I'm a little bit too young.
When I grew up, Plastic Man was my favorite cartoon. It was the greatest thing ever. And he can become anything, right? He was an incredible hero. And they can pull that off with CGI today. So why don't they just give us some characters that we haven't been overloaded with? I mean, I've got a whole complete collection of DC's New 52, issues #1, first prints. There are some, when I got them, there were a whole bunch of comics that I had never heard of, never seen the characters. And I was like, this is good stuff, right? Well, that's beside the fact that DC just smokes Marvel in every way. But why can't we just get some new creativity here without them being fucking gay or have two dicks or whatever the fuck they are doing, right? So that's my criticism of all this Marvel stuff. It's not original. It's all old, and they're trying to pull in stuff like Megan Thee Stallion, which does nothing but highlight the fact that the Grammys are a joke. Yeah, this is what I expect from modern culture in America. Mm-hmm. Really, this is pure garbage, just like America is today. So,
yeah, I can't disagree with you. I've always liked to keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've had their low moments. Their Phase 4 has not been, for me, from what I've seen, I don't think it's been as good. Now, there's been some standouts. I thought the Spider-Man No Way Home, I thought that was great.
That was great, but that was made by Sony. That wasn't made by Marvel Studios. That's why it was great. It was a different company doing it, right? The people who were actually in charge at Marvel, fucking, they can't make a goddamn movie to save their life.
Yeah. Shang-Chi, was it the best movie of all time? No, but it at least gave me, my protagonist, antagonist, and I felt like there was some sort of a threat there.
Okay. So let me, that I thought was mildly acceptable, but I didn't find the character itself compelling. Like, I don't give a fuck about some dude with a bunch of rings. Like, it just didn't, it didn't sit well with me. I do like how they kind of sort of integrated it into the larger scale Marvel universe and the purpose of the rings and stuff. But it's just, what is going on, Marvel? Like, get your shit together. I mean,
and we got to think back to the first iteration of Phase 4, which was Black Widow, which was a missed opportunity. I mean, for the swan song of the character.
I didn't think it was horrible. When I watched it, I didn't think it was horrible. I mean, I'd have to probably go back and rewatch it with a new eye, and I could probably tear it apart. But I didn't. I thought it was. I didn't want those 2 hours of my life back, right? So most of the time, like She-Hulk, man, I got 90 minutes of my life I'll never get back, right? I'll be on my deathbed being like, if I only didn't watch She-Hulk.
I could have watched something more
like
more entertaining,
like paint drying.
Yeah, there you go. So that's She-Hulk episode 3. My thoughts where it's going. As you said, I'm assuming somebody's trying to extract her blood to create another Hulk, because we also seen where Bruce evaporated her blood because you don't want nobody getting this. I'm like, okay, if y'all would push that more, I want you to push that idea more. And it's kind of like in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they were trying to get the super soldier serum. So it's almost kind of if they're going that direction, it's a similar storyline of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, I see that. So let me ask you this. Can she bleed and get cut when she's in normal human form, or only when she can?
I'm assuming that she can, yes, because of course we've seen Bruce bleed into her when he was hurt and he had the his little defibrillator, whatever it is, on his arm. So
well, if she can't get jabbed with a needle when she's the Hulk, I don't ever want to see her be the Hulk and complain about breaking a nail. Okay, that's that's what I'm looking out for.
Yeah, so dang, and I'll be honest, I just hit that epiphany right here. If we do end up going that route of somebody's trying to get her blood to make more Hulks, it's just like, y'all just took the same storyline from Falcon and the Winter Soldier and just transposed it over to the Hulk with She-Hulk. It's just like, you took the exact same storyline.
Yeah, it just goes back to a distinct lack of originality, which comes from having bad writers. I mean, is the world just producing bad writers these days? I mean, did all the writers get the vax and now their fucking brains aren't working right? I mean, what is going on here?
Yeah, but even in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it had that aspect of the guy who became the new Captain America. He was so pent up in trying to actually, perform in the role to the standards of Captain America, that he ended up taking the super soldier serum because he realized he wasn't good enough. And then when his friend died, that's when it got real for him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's something more emotional needs to come into this. Maybe get your emotions more tied into the character, because right now you have no emotional investment in She-Hulk.
Or even if we had, even if not with She-Hulk, it's too late. The boat's already sailed on She-Hulk. But if you're going to have a character like that, the way to do it is to do flashback scenes, right? Like the show starts and the strong female feminist character is already doing her ass kicking stuff. And then throughout the show, they do flashbacks to her childhood, to who her parents were,
there you go,
to how she ended up, hating all men, like all that stuff, right? We're not getting that here. All we got was that feminist rant in the first episode, right? So, yeah, these people need to have the feelings of the characters explained, right? Mm-hmm. What happened to the She-Hulk earlier in her life that caused her to hate getting catcalled prior to twerking, right? Mm-hmm. So
it's all good now, though. After the twerk, it should be all good.
Honestly, I think that the word and action of twerking should be stricken from human history. Really, I just don't get it. It's ridiculous, and it has no place in modern entertainment.
Hey, look, it's a thing now. So we're gonna give this a rating out of 10 cubes. Out of 10 cubes, how many cubes do you give episode 3 of She-Hulk, Corey Hughes?
All right, I'm going to try to be serious about this and not just a dick. So, In all actuality, was there anything about the show that I found redeemable or that I liked or that had
this episode, one episode,
right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to give it 3 cubes, and I think that's generous. And that's because at least we have an indication of where the show's going. We have an indication that there's a bad guy out there. The boss ain't going to like that, right? Was what he said. Yeah. So they gave us an indication of the direction of the show, while the entire rest of the show was completely disposable. Polanski's going to get out. Do you think he's going to stay, Polanski? Well, I don't know if we're ever going to see him again, because he probably cost them $1 million a show. So
right. Yeah, so he's probably gone. He's going to go do yoga. I'm gonna go with 3 as well. 3 cubes out of 10. And as you said, that is very generous. All right, extremely generous. And I almost wanted to go 2. All right, I was on the cusp of going 2, just because of the ending scene with the ass shaking. I was just like, man, it's just these scenes at the end could give us something else to look forward to in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these could be used to do, not something that's trying to be hilarious or whatever that was. Okay,
right.
Whatever that was at the end.
And also, I'm gonna give the Grammys 1 cube for giving this fucking Megan Thee Stallion bitch an award. Like, seriously, fucking for real. Like, I went and listened to some of her music. Is trash. Modern day like hip hop and R&B is trash. You know,
it's pretty tough.
Like I try to listen to some of this modern R&B, and I'm like, oh my god, Smokey Robinson is rolling over in his fucking grave right now.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. So that's going to wrap up this week's episode, guys, of the review of She-Hulk and much more. You got much more in this episode than just She-Hulk, which is what we try to do for y'all. So we're going to catch y'all soon. We're actually, me and Corey are going to be doing a review of Samaritan.
Yes.
All right.
That show, you guys got to tune in. That's going to be a good one because I'm not going to give anything away, but I actually enjoyed Samaritan, and we will talk about why on the next Showtime with the Cube.
All right. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.